Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the Good Life Podcast, the Kickback. It's your boy, Good Life Russ, in the building.
It's your boy Good Life Twan. What's going on with my peoples this week, man?
Man, I hope they good because I'm feeling good. It was a good weekend. Kids won a championship in basketball, so that was the vibes.
I seen Sun getting it off.
Man, they played their hearts out. I'm proud of them guys, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. How
That's
was
all.
your weekend, brother?
Man, it was great. It was definitely great, man. It's been a good week. Start off today, Monday. I start my work week on Sunday, and I could say the week beginning off good. I got 2 days down, 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. But
Oh
it's
yeah,
definitely a great weekend and a great start to this new week. So
man. I love to
best
hear
part
that,
of the
bro.
week right here, though, man.
Same,
It's
same. It's
showtime.
crazy. I was counting over the episodes, just thinking like, man, we in it.
Yeah.
We like 7, 8 up. I'm like, that's a good feeling because I remember us talking about it at the beginning and all the emotions and everything that came with the journey, bro. And I still get them butterflies. I get excited doing this.
Man, what boy say it's still like talking to your first girl at the school dance, man.
Yeah, yeah, literally, bro. Just stirring up all them feelings, bringing back them emotions, but more importantly, it's something we can commit to, something we can pour into, and that's special for me.
Facts. Same.
So we got a topic for y'all. We always gonna have a topic just so the people know what to follow. They know what we talking about, and they can relate to these things and keep these conversations going. Today it's about forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of them things. One of them things. I don't practice forgiveness the same way when we were growing up and how we were taught and how people wanted us to view forgiveness. I got a whole different ideology with it now. You know what I mean? And for me, is I only worry about forgiveness itself, and I don't forgive others because they didn't wrong me in any way. Whatever you did, I allowed you to do it. So I have to forgive myself for not knowing better. I gotta forgive myself for answering a do not answer call. You did. I gotta forgive myself. I can't be mad at you for calling. Why am I picking up the phone? Like, why am I engaging in things that I don't believe in or I don't want to participate in anymore? But I do think there's certain times, extreme situations where you'll have to forgive another person. Where you at with forgiveness before we get to the prompts? Where you at?
Uh Forgiveness one of them things I'm still working on. Every day is different. Every day I learn a new way to forgive. Um and like you said, I think the older and the more mature I become, the more I'm getting away from feeling like I forgave someone, and more so understanding that, like you said, whatever happened, I allowed it to happen. So, it starts with me first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once I got to that point, it's becoming more and more easy for me to say, um, forgiveness is a set of a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, when you dealing with you and yourself, it's correction every day. So um, let's just say forgiveness is just kind of part of the journey. I don't look at it as necessarily forgiveness, more so than I did it wrong this way. Let me go back and reiterate this and try it a different way. It's
Mm-hmm.
self reflection. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, it starts with you. And you said in those extreme cases when someone does wrong you and you have to forgive a person, um, that's one of those things I struggle with still. I'm human. I'm still working on it. If something goes that wrong to where it was totally out of my hands and you chose to, do whatever you did that I have to forgive you for, um, you had a lot of time to make that decision. I'm not a person that's easily offended. And like I said, for it to be that wrong and that far left field, it's kind of hard for me to look at things about forgiveness when it comes to those situations because, like I said, I'm not easily uh, tampered with. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
won't move me. So
Man, the same, bro. Like that's why I know when I am bothered by something, it's like you intentionally doing it. Cause it would have to be a series of events, for me to get upset or me to get angry with another person. Really, just because it's too much energy. Not even, dismissing anyone's power or lack thereof, you dig? Like, for me, it's just, I could be using that energy for a million other things versus being mad at you for some stuff I'm not going to care about in a week, realistically.
right.
You know what I mean? So, I definitely feel that. So, what we have, the definition of forgiveness is a conscious decision to release resentment or anger towards someone who has harmed you, regardless of whether they deserve it. Um, I mean, yeah, I could see that. I could see the need for forgiveness, and I believe there are people who lead with forgiveness. You know what I mean? Like they want to be forgiving people, and to each his own. But for me, forgiving other people just feels too biblical. It just feels too like you keep wronging me, so I gotta find ways to forgive you. Cause like my people who've never done me wrong, my good people in my life, I don't have to forgive them for anything. Ever. Like I've never forgiven you for anything. You've never done anything that I'll have to forgive.
Yeah.
You
Nah,
know what I mean? And
yeah.
we've known each other for a long time.
I
And I
know.
don't foresee you doing anything I would have to forgive. That be my basis. So then it kind of like takes the glory away from the good friends. And again, like society does, it puts the emphasis on the people who need help or the people who just don't get it or the people who lack boundaries. But then we don't naturally get flowers to the people who deserve them, the ones we never have to forgive. The ones we never have to look back and it like, remember when I let you borrow that 20? They didn't let you borrow 40 since then. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
you don't even got to talk to them like that. You feel me? You don't even want the 20 back, the type of person they is.
Nah, I definitely get exactly what you said.
Like, and I have relationships with friends like that. You know what I mean? I have friends close to me like that where it's like we don't count favors. That's how good we are to each other. That's how many favors we wouldn't be able to count. We would lose
Yeah,
track of the favors. It's too many. So all we focus on is being friends, being better friends. You know what I mean? Spending more time together. Hey, Lock Nation, stand up. What up, Summer?
yo, yo, yo.
Straight from New York in the building. So it's like, yeah, bro, like, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence still about forgiving other people. The first bullet though is my favorite part. Is forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiveness is not getting back together.
Nah, that's a fact.
You
I,
dig?
I think a lot of people misconstrued that. But I won't touch on it because I feel like it's gonna touch into some other bullets. So I will say that yes,
Yes.
that is a powerful statement.
Yeah. And for those that just came in, forgiveness is not reconciliation. Forgiving somebody is not kumbaya with them and being buddies again and having a handshake. Some are trying to be like us when we grow up. All right, chill, chill, chill. We doing a show. Chill, 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 chill. All right, the next bullet. Focus on self. It's not about who hurt you. It's about you. So in the path of forgiveness, you gotta focus on you. You gotta come up with a plan. We gonna break down what you can do for daily forgiveness. We got some prompts because I had to really dive into myself to ask some questions for this show. You know what I mean? Like what it really means, and because I don't want to demonize forgiving other people either. But
Right,
I'm just self-centered. You dig? Like I'm about forgiving self. I'm about holding myself accountable. I'm about learning from what happened. You dig? Just said I forgive for my peace and not theirs. Yeah, essentially that's what it is. And sometimes we're forgiving someone because we don't want tension and we don't want uncomfortability. You see how that circle around with healing? It's usually going to lead to you being uncomfortable. In most cases, the
you
only
got
time you're looking for comfort is extreme situations like survival, life or death. You're gonna need some comfort. Pain, you're gonna look for comfort. But in most parts of healing, like it is uncomfortability is step one.
You know my saying about that. You definitely gotta be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Like that's major. Like, and
bro. So
go ahead, brother.
what'd you say? Now I was agreeing with you.
I think that when we get into that statement, when we dig a little deeper, I think people find peace in forgiving people so that they don't have to do self reflection,
Mm,
and that could be a dangerous state of mind
yeah,
because you become blind to your own actions and what you may have partaken in to allow someone to do this damage or to allow this damage to be caused. And when you see past that, it's easy to play the blame game.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I think a lot of people get comfortable playing that blame game because self reflection is just too much for them.
mm-hmm.
I tell people that all the time. Oh, this person ain't shit, and they ain't this, and they ain't that. And it's like, man, how long did you know that before you went down this road?
Yeah,
I mean, they wasn't shit to other people. They wasn't like that to me though. You know, but not being smart enough to, if they'll do it to somebody they call brother, mother, sister, you know,
mm-hmm,
what make you any different? You know,
mm-hmm.
normalizing that, if I see a thief and they constantly stealing, 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 I'm not wondering what happened when I invite them over and stuff come up missing out of my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm not
Exactly.
playing the blame game on somebody stole. I invited a thief in, things came up missing. I
Mm-hmm.
invited a thief in and things up missing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what do I need to forgive the thief for? The thief did what the thief gonna do. The thief stealing.
Mm-hmm.
You
About to
know
go
what I'm
do
saying?
it again.
So, that was natural cause for them. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
I invited a thief in my house knowingly that something could come up missing, and it did. And I will never have to look at them and forgive them because I invited them here.
Yeah, 100%. And then you get into that realm with people where they're trying to force you to apologize to them. And that person might not be sorry. You dig? They not sorry about what they said. They not sorry about what they did. Like, so now we getting into closure. And again, this is all self treatment, self reflection. I don't believe you need another person for closure. I give myself closure. I don't wait for closure from other people. I don't wait for someone to tell me, the situation's over or what's my part in it. Like I decide my part. I decide if I'm going to engage. I decide if I'm going to, detach. That's the next part of forgiveness is planning. You gotta have a plan. You gotta plan for what's coming next after this forgiveness. Or you just having selective outrage. You just trying to live in the chaos. You like living in the middle of things.
Hey,
Things too quiet. You know what I mean?
chaos
And
become
that's where
peace.
a lot of us are getting to. That's a new plateau for us on this climb of elevation of greatness. Is sometimes like that's what it looks like. Like sometimes a good life looks like boredom. And it look like your phone ain't shaking. And ain't nobody inviting you to the party. You dig? That stuff don't even look appetizing to you right now either. Your mind in a whole different place. And you're gonna look for stimulation. You're
Hey,
gonna look for some type of little shock.
you just said a lot.
Bro, that's why a lot of people date off shock value. A lot of people's friends is off shock value. A lot of people's careers, how they dress, they're looking for that shot. They're looking for a reaction from someone. Everything they do is about other people. You know what I mean? Like, and for me, it always leads back to self. That's why a lot of people don't want to self reflect, is because what they got hidden in the closet and under the bed. And I don't keep skeletons out of my closet because I care like what other people gonna think when they come over. I could care less. I
Right.
don't want a pile of skeletons falling on me every time I get my coat. You dig? Every time I gotta open the closet, I don't want to be avalanche with a bunch of shit I didn't deal with that I just tucked away and I hid away, and I hope people didn't see what was really going on.
Hey, you know one thing I take pride in? My living room,
Yeah.
my door space. You ever met that friend? And I know so many people who do it, and they do it unconsciously.
Hmm.
Pull up to their house, and they might be in the car with you, and they gotta run in, and they open the door, and it's almost like they trying to close themselves in the door. You know what I'm saying? Like they trying to shut that motherfucker for they even step all the way in the door. Like, goddamn, you done caught your boot, your ankle, like you feel me? And it's like that's because all them skeletons, all
Yeah.
that image that they what I'm saying, trying to uphold, they gotta hide it every time they open that door. Like I take pride in being able to open up my door wide.
Hmm.
I let that motherfucker swing open. I keep walking
Hmm.
for a little bit and come back and shut the door. You feel me? Like let it be cool right now. Ain't too many flies flying around. Now I gotta walk outside. I'm gonna open that motherfucker and leave it open. And it's not, flying or anything like that. It's just literally being comfortable with knowing what's inside my living room. Like
Yeah.
I ain't worried about if piece of towel gonna fall over in front of the doorway when I open the door. Like you ain't worried about it. Stuff gonna be laying over the floor. Like just mentally, that's why I don't hold on to a lot of skeletons. Um,
Yeah.
like we talked about last week. It's another one of them things that I'm constantly in my bag. And you know what I'm saying? I'm adding new. I'm pulling out. You know what I'm saying? This skeleton done cover 4 other skeletons. I can throw 3 of them away because this one big one. You know what I'm saying? Like you learn to deal with stuff accordingly in your life. I just never been
Hmm.
the type of person who, leaves stuff there. Like I said, I became numb to a lot of things, and I think that was the key of, being able to recognize my skeletons and figure out, how to deal with them, how to face them.
Yeah. I feel like in that sense too, people can't have it both ways. Like you can't have a junky ass house and be worried people think you got a junky ass house. Like some gotta give. You either gotta clean up or not care. You can't do
Yeah,
both. You know what I mean? So for me, no matter how I live, no matter how I am, I'm the same way. Like I door wide open. Like I have nothing to hide. Like if I'm gonna invite you to my crib, I'm not worried about whatever you gonna see or your perception of how you think I'm living or what, because you don't got the full story. And even if you did, who cares? Like I'm not building the type of friendships where we judging each other based on how we live. You know what I mean? We holding each other accountable for the type of people we can be, but I'm not holding against you who you feel you should be or who other people feel you should be that you're not. You dig? We only focusing on what is. We don't
yeah,
focus on shoulda, coulda, woulda, or what could be. You dig? Like just what is, and that's a lot of what forgiveness will give you. This is the positive side now. Forgiveness will give you emotional liberation. You will be able, you will allow yourself to let things go. We have so many things that's been holding us down over the years. That's baggage that we should have been let go of. You know what I mean? And now we're just in the muscle memory of used to holding something. You just got your hand clenched. So you done forgot something's in your hand. You forgot you holding all this weight now. You just walking up with your fist balled up, walking around everywhere. You dig? That's all people see. You still see all this luggage. This new luggage you picking up, this old luggage you want to get rid of. That shirt from your ex you should have burnt. You did. You should have dropped off at the Salvation Army. And we just hoarding these things. Like, and to me, there is no forgiveness taking place. There is no healing taking place. Like you facilitating pain. You living in the numbness.
Ooh,
You dig? Like, and that's
that's
a choice. That's a choice. You feel me?
facility.
Like that's something we said on the last show, like that I heard in the lecture. Like you can't there is no such thing as a bad habit. Like once you've done it more than once, it's a choice now. You're choosing this. There's not some mystic force that's making you not run. You dig? and eat fried foods. Like you choosing that. So that's what I mean by you can't have it two ways. Like be comfortable with the life that you choosing. You feel me? Or stop caring what other people think.
Yeah, one or the other.
Yeah, like you gotta pick a lane. You feel me? Like for me, I just choose to be comfortable in my life. And it leads me to not caring what other people thinks. That's the end of the journey though. You ain't gonna get both at the beginning. You gotta start at one end and go to the other end. You gotta experience both to really understand anything. And a lot of trauma and a lot of hurt is built up on people through that weight we've been carrying. So they just stay on that one side. They stay what's comfortable, what they know. And anything that's foreign, anything that's unknown, they just dismiss it.
Yeah,
Failure comes through trying. So if you never try, you never fail, you never grow. Like you're supposed to not be good at something you just started doing. No matter what it is. It could be drinking water, it could be taking walks, it could be speaking softer, being in your soft air. Like the key thing to learn to know with forgiveness is it's a process. None of these things happen overnight. None of these things are snap of a finger. I don't know what people think I do spiritually. I don't have a genie. We're not like using spells and shit. You dig? Like
I got a
my
question for you.
yeah, go ahead.
This a little on topic, but off topic. And it's because I was having this conversation with somebody. Basically, what you just said,
Hmm.
and they asked me, "What's the worth in taking 10 shots and making five if I can take two and I only got to make one? It's the same 50%." And I'm gonna be honest with you. I I didn't really have an answer for them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, it was so many directions I could have went in with that question, but like I really want to hear your input on that. Like,
Yeah.
because people
Absolutely.
self reflection is one thing. I challenge people to self reflect, but when people start asking questions like that, like are you asking this question because you want to be knowledgeable of what the answer is going to be, or is you asking this question for a crutch to hold back on because you feel like I'm challenging this 50% being the same as this 1 for 2 or this 5 out of 10?
Hmm.
And that's dangerous to me, So I really want to hear your insight on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the first variable is it depends on your intentions. Why are you playing the game? You know what I mean? And then for me, like how I think, I'm not trying to intentionally get 50%. I'm understanding 50% is just probability. And I love numbers. I love using numbers. I love probabilities. You know what I mean? So for your 1 to 2 50% theory to even make sense, someone would have had to have shot as many shots as they could possibly to try to see how many they can make. And let's say it evened out around 50%. You get what I mean? We need both your data. Like we need your stance to say, okay, I could just shoot two, shoot one, be done. But then my argument is, what do you do with everything else in your life? Like, is that how you live? There's an opportunity for 10 and you settle for two. Two is good enough. This is how I hear these things when I talk to myself. And I don't live that type of life. I don't live a life that's good enough. You know what I mean? So if you don't go too far, you have no idea how far you can go. I might hit 10 out of 10. 2 out of 2 is never going to feel the same as 10 out of 10, ever, in anything. So your ceiling is literally at your forehead.
You stuck.
I'm walking in my room and people like, he can't reach that ceiling. We in two different lives. We in two different mindsets. We fighting for two different things. You fighting for room. I'm fighting to challenge myself to see how high I can jump. See how many shots I can hit.
Nah, that's a
You
fact.
don't you don't get that challenge. As soon as you make your two, or miss your two, or miss one, make one, or make one, miss one, you're done.
That's it.
I just summed up your day in 5 seconds. And since we talking numbers and probabilities, out of my 10 shots, that can turn into hundreds of outcomes.
It's crazy how that two shots is some people's life. You
Yeah.
summed up
That
somebody.
was your first thought.
You said you summed up somebody's day. Them two shots is a couple people's life. Like that. That
Yeah.
just 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2. That's all I got. You know what I mean? Imagine that in a heavyweight championship boxing bout.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You gotta fight him for 12 rounds. I only got a 1-2 for him, coach. I ain't gonna hold you. He better go down with one of them. One of them better work. Or both of them better work. That's all I got.
I ain't prepare myself for this 1-2 to work either. I just done out there and hit the 1-2.
With the 10, I could tire you out. I could work my jab, I could work my straight, and then hook you to upper. Like, I got options. I can come out just haymakers. You dig? I got options. But with the 2, your options is limited. Your options gonna be up like this.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when a lot of people retreat. That's when they give up. See, for me, I'm a very old school, ancient school. When years was ones and 20, year 20, you dig? Like old school, old school. I believe in honor. So I don't put myself in positions to where I know this is a fun thing. I'm not competing. I'm not even taking it serious. Like I'm not gonna be upset if I lose. You got it. And it puts me in a situation where I'm able to celebrate other people in this arena. And I feel like a lot of people give up the competition. They give up celebrating others because of the weight that they're having to carry by this persona that they're trying to keep up. And the reality is the people you're pretending to be do the work every day. They're not pretending. That's not a show. They actually do the work. They forgive themselves. They let things go. They move on. They move forward. They move up.
They took them 10 shots to make 5. That
You feel
50.
me? And
Whew.
the I feel like the ones who have now the duality is they started off on the side of what if I could only take 2 shots? You dig? These ain't people who always thought what they think. These are people who lived on the other side of the fence. So now they know it's brighter over here. Hold up. The water's clear. There's animals. There's not even grass on that side. Hold up. What is this green grass? Oh, this is nice.
Man, listen.
You got perspective and you know what I mean, perception now, and you got to work the two. That's what I meant by earlier. Like these things get so heavy, especially healing wise. People just stay on their one side of learning and one side of understanding. Like the journey to your healing is always understanding that other side. So no matter where you start, you're trying to get to the other side. You're not getting comfortable where you started. You're not saying this is where I'm going to be. Let's set up camp. You dig? You getting your food in your belly. You getting your stick. You going in the dirt. You drawing up a plan. You drawing up a blueprint. You writing a list of shit you gonna do. You keeping track. That's the process. You know what I mean? So everything that comes with healing, like you said, you could take one whole skeleton out, and this was 3 things. So now the closet's clean. You don't gotta go femur. I'm gonna go. Oh, I got a toe over here. Let me get that. Let me grab a toe. You know what I
On
mean?
a bone.
You can get the whole thing because it's probably connected. You just don't see it as connected, so you trying to get it piece by piece. But all of this is a reaction of itself. You dig? Like, so even these are things we have to forgive ourselves for. That's what a lot of older people are suffering with now through their survivor's guilt. They can't forgive themselves. They have a hard time forgiving themselves for not knowing back then or not showing up. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
And I always have to be the voice of reason because that's just who I am. But like, what the hell can we do about that? Like, what can I do about a year ago? What can I edit about that? What can I change about a year ago?
Not a damn
Nothing.
thing.
I can't even think back that far. I can't tell you what I was eating a year ago, what I was doing this time right now, sitting at where I was at. I have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, but we're getting to these conclusions because people are trying to rush to the finish line. They trying to rush to get the equation over. That's what I think when I hear, you got opportunity to take 10 shots, 50%. Oh, I could do it in 2. Like you trying to be finished. And I do things to completion.
Mm,
Completion means you done when the job done.
right.
Finished is shit. I could walk into work 5 minutes and be finished. You hear me? I'm finished for the day too. Not just not. My worst thing I'll eat, man, on the job, lunch. My lunch was too good. It was too comforting. I was done after lunch. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to take a nap. You hear me? Ate too good. I'm finished. I'm done
Yeah,
for the day.
but is the job complete?
Yeah. And that's why I had the comfortability of doing that because I was working for somebody. So it's like they just gonna find somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? When it comes to my life and my shit, if I don't complete it, it don't get completed.
Nah,
So I
fact.
don't get to be finished.
Nah.
You feel me? Like, and this is how a good parent looks at parenting. And a good parent don't mean you perfect. And a good parent don't mean you don't need forgiveness. That means you go through those processes. You work through forgiveness. You forgive yourself for not knowing any better.
And you take the chances. Like you said, that's another.
Yeah.
And I took 10 shots instead of two. You know,
Yep.
two mean that I tried, I fucked up, and I never went back to it. 10 mean, I tried, I fucked up, I tried again, I fucked up again. Guess what? I kept trying. You feel me? Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I got to give myself them shots to understand that, I can learn from these mistakes. I can forgive myself and know that enough to know that, whatever decision I made then, whether it turned out good or bad, my intentions was great. You know what I'm saying? I had the best intentions at heart. So I'm never calculating those mishaps. They just
Yeah.
lessons I learned. You know,
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
forgiveness definitely will come full circle when it comes to, parenting. Um, they go coherent. They two and two the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being a parent is about forgiveness. Like, you learn how to forgive yourself. Much more than you ever can forgive anybody else, such as your kids, you know what I'm saying, or yourself for being somebody's kid, Um, you just learn that things happen and it's a part of life, and you learn to address them and deal with them and keep going.
Yeah. And that, see, this is where things get tricky with me, where sometimes it seems like I'm saying two things at once, because sometimes I am saying two things at once. But I believe that there is, for me, I have a sacred circle. Like my kids are in my sacred circle. So they can, I bend the rules for them. You dig? I forgive them. I'm silly with them. I let my guard down with them. I talk to them like how I talk to myself. And those are those are other people when I say like I'm not big on forgiving other people. People outside of that circle. I just don't see the efficiency of it. I don't see the productivity of it. Like I don't get what it's granting us. It seems nice, you dig, but I'm not a nice person. I'm a kind person. I lead with kindness, but I niceness to me is stupidity, is naivety. So I don't try to be nice. I'm not trying to, laugh at your jokes. It's not funny. I'm not trying to say I'm sorry because I told a joke and you got offended. It's a fucking joke. Like, what do you want me to do? Stop joking? Because that's not gonna happen.
Don't tell the damn joke, Smokey.
That's not gonna happen. You gonna have to tune me out. You know
You
what I mean? You gonna
you
have
are
to tune me out.
you are not my audience. Like
I,
that was the key to a lot of things with me and my growth, was learning that, those ears didn't hear that joke because it wasn't meant for those ears. You know what I'm saying? Like they might have heard it, but they didn't understand it, and they took offense to it because that wasn't your crowd, that wasn't your audience. You know what I'm saying? When you talking to the right people and the right people listening, no matter what you say, it's intended to be a joke. It's a joke. That's what it's gonna be perceived as. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't
mhm.
do a comedy show if you don't want to hear a joke.
It's bad out there for comedians because we can't have a level playing field anymore. You can talk about how this person's joke offended you, but they can't talk about how sensitive you're fucking being. You dig? There's no fairness. There's no equality anymore in that sense. Like we're taking psychological equality away from each other. And people are starting to hold you fucking hostage to how they think.
I
I'm
mean,
cool.
that's like showing up to work and expecting not to be assigned a job.
Yeah.
Like, I
And
mean,
they be quick to point out the person walking by like they don't have a job. Like, yeah, they're the owner. Oh, wait, well, let me find somebody else. Like, nah, you don't. We talking about you. You can't look at somebody else and say what they should be doing and what you should be. That's not your job. We try to give you your job, and you try to do everything else.
but your job, boy, listen.
I used to have radar for that. I'll be in the workplace like, oh yeah, they gonna be out of here soon. They ain't gonna last long.
As they say, the wrong shit. You feel
Come
me?
in here one day, they see empty. They desk got a little tan on it. I said, oh yeah, they gone. They done got you. They done get you that white
And
box.
sit there and play checkers, all right? Knowing your fucking place is key. You know,
Waiting to see who new coming in, cause people ain't gonna deal with that. You know what I mean? That's what I meant when I said emotional liberation. Like a lot of times, these emotions we're harboring is trickling into other shit we do, and it's affecting other things we do, and it's affecting our speech and how we think and how we respond. You dig? Like, and that's your power. Your power is in your response. Sometimes the best response is nothing.
uh,
That's a lot of times why I don't speak. Cause I don't want to have to look back and forgive myself for saying some dumb shit. You feel me? I could have just said nothing.
hey, you know, man, life be life and boy. Cause I literally 2 hours ago was just having a conversation with one of my brothers,
Hmm.
and he made a statement and said, even a fool can appear wise when they don't say nothing.
Yep.
And I said, damn. I thought about it over and over, and I thought about it some more. I was trying to grasp the concept because it was so bold and blatant and right there in front of you. You know, you naturally think about, all right, yeah, because if the fool ain't saying that, how do you tell if they wise or not? But when you think about how deep that statement really is,
Hmm.
that goes back to me and saying one of my natural things that I do is I hear what you didn't say more than what you did say.
Yeah.
Um, and when I started to relate, what I'm saying, the two, like you said, it's natural for you to realize that, a person who don't know no better won't speak on it. All right.
Hmm.
But what is not natural for you to realize is that the person that don't know no better is smart enough to know not to speak on it.
Yes.
You know, So it's a big difference between a person just being quiet because they being quiet. They don't know what to say. They there, they uncomfortable. They don't know what to say, so they just listening. They just sitting there. And the person who intentionally showed up, knowing that they didn't know absolutely nothing about the topic, but they was gonna be quiet, so nobody in there knew that they didn't know anything about the topic. It's a big difference. One of them is real, real dangerous. And I think a lot of us have not looked in the mirror to understand that we are allowing these type of people to sit at the table with us.
Yeah. I
I,
love that you use that word dangerous.
yeah,
Cause that's a fact. Like, even in my world, this is what I teach people and help people understand. Cause like when you use tarot cards and different like spiritual gods you connect to, like for me, my spiritual god is a wolf. You know what I mean? For many reasons. But there's a fool card. And I tell people the fool card is the most dangerous card. And they always ask why. And I say it's because the fool is the most underestimated. That's what makes them so dangerous. You're not thinking to lock your doors. That's that sense when you was like, I invited the thief in. You dig? But they play dumb, like, nah, I wouldn't do that to you. I don't steal around. I don't steal in this kind of neighborhood. This neighborhood is nice. while y'all walk into the crib and they done pointed out everybody's door color, everybody's license plate number. Nah, you casing the joint. You hear me?
Yeah,
You at work.
y'all nice, wholesome people
You
around here.
don't you don't slack on this job. You complete this job. You hear me? You ain't finished with this on this job. Your second job. So that's 100%, bro. Most of the con artists are fools. Like that's why people be so upset when they realize they got duped because then they see who did it. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Now you realizing this ain't some giant. This is some little man with a microphone.
It's sitting right next to you. Damn homeless man that got me for everything in my pocket, and I ain't even realize.
That's why I be quiet when they be talking to me. Like, yeah, this big guy up the street, and I'm like, who? They tell me, I'm like, big guy, the little guy with the with the megaphone. Nah, that motherfucker like 10 feet tall. Like, oh, all right, bet.
Crazy that perception,
Carry on.
everything. Perception is everything. Cause
You
your
feel me?
perception of that big man down there, you know, when you look at him in your world, like you talking about that little bitty guy down there with the
Can't be
little
talking about them.
yeah, with the little old school toy you talking to and then repeat what you say. That ain't the big man at the end you talking about with the microphone, is you? Like, but it's perception, you know. People see different things and different people to be different things.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, overall, when I started looking about uh, judging people and, you know, forgiveness, I feel like a lot of that stuff, you know, go into who you are. I try not to judge people at all.
Hmm.
I try not to put myself in a predicament to ever have to forgive you. I try not to let you control no narrative that's going to affect my outcome.
Hmm.
If it has anything to do with me, I try to be fully in charge of, you know, what I'm doing, what's going on around me, being aware of my surroundings. Um, I never want to be in a predicament to say, man, you fucked me over.
Hmm.
Because naturally, if I gave you the keys to my car, if I let you in my house, it was because I trusted you enough to believe that, you know, you was this person that I didn't have to worry about this about.
Hmm.
Like you said, you know, having friends. If I invited you over, I ain't worried about what you looking at. I'm that comfortable with you that I'm not worried about what you see because anything you see in here is me.
Hmm.
And making that judgment call when you going through life is very important. Um, I think, like I said, empowering other people to fuck you over is, you know, self-sabotaging. Ultimately, it goes back to who can you blame. You only can forgive yourself because you the only one at fault.
Yeah. And you gotta pick a lane. I think that's where we get caught up a lot of times as people is we learn both sides and then we pick that easier side to deal with. We pick the easier side to tolerate with, the easier side to detach from. But the reality is you want to invite your friends over, you want them to have a good time, but not too much of a good time. And your bad friends is gonna take it too far, and your good friends is gonna respect you too much to even take it anywhere. They just gonna respect your shit and stand in the corner and not touch nothing and not break nothing and not make too much noise and not ask for too much juice and not drink too much of the henny. You know what I mean? And that's frustrating sometimes because it's like, hey, get a double shot. I don't know you 20 years. Why you sipping and I had to realize through growing up, like you're being a good friend because I'll be the same way. I go over somebody I really respect's house. I'm extra respectful. I'm extra
Yeah,
careful to the almost to the point where I'm not letting my guard down. Like I'm you feel me? I'm protecting the president.
I'm being comfortable being uncomfortable because I know that I don't want to step. It's not that I'm walking on eggshells, but I don't want to step off and step on no glass.
Yeah.
So I'm protecting it at all costs. But once again, it all goes full circle into if I'm planning a party, if I'm hosting a party, I want you to be comfortable enough to enjoy yourself. But I
Mm.
don't want you to be too comfortable enough to where you feel like you can stay. You
Yeah.
know, so it's a party to intend for a party. This ain't a sleepover. I didn't invite y'all over for you to stay here. You know, I invited you over here to enjoy yourself and then go back to your house. So when I'm prepping my party, I'm not gonna have 50 sleeping bags over. I'm saying I'm not gonna have, you know, all the wine, unlimited bar to where you so drunk that now you gotta sleep on my furniture. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't set up for this to be a stand situation. I set this up to be a party. So it's, you know, important for you even at hosting that making people comfortable enough to where, all right, I'm going to let my guard down and enjoy myself, but I'm going to have enough respect to know that this isn't my home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the host. And I'm not just talking about a party per se. I'm talking about your life. You know, you have to set it up to where people is comfortable enough to know this is my family. You know what I'm saying? This is somebody that I consider my brother. But in the same breath, I'm never putting more than I can bear on my brother because these are my problems. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Real friend ain't gonna take you down certain roads. They're not even gonna jeopardize you and put you in those predicaments to deal with certain things. Some roads are meant to drive down alone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a bad friend don't care. You help. They gonna make you get in the car. They need help. They taking reinforcements. A good friend is recognizing that you got something else going on outside of here. I ain't gonna even make you go down this road with me.
That's a fact. You know what I mean? And all of that's healing. All of that is self reflection. All of that is looking in the mirror and realizing, like, okay, this is my life, but this life is about more than just me. The things I say and do affect more than just me. When I'm gone, this shit gonna still be spinning. You dig? It ain't gonna stop with me. This isn't my life. This isn't my existence. The world is having an existence. The world has a life. The world is life. You know what I mean? Like, and we got to realize that is the daily process to self-care, to mental health, to loving life. We do a lot of things in spurts. We do a lot of things how we've been trained to do it. Okay, it's my birthday once a year, celebrate it. Okay, it's New Year's once a year, celebrate it. You get what I mean?
No,
Brody out of jail, celebrate for that. They going into jail, celebrate for that. They died, celebrate for that. So baby, celebrate for that. It's all these one-off occurrences. That's what I meant when I said like one of our biggest generational problems is that starting and stopping shit, not seeing things through, not doing things to completion, doing them until we get burnt out and then being finished. And that shit is so unhealthy, man. Like no matter which way you go, you gonna have to heal. Healing trauma negates more trauma. How you had to heal that trauma is created some trauma within you. You did like you got to deal with that later. It ain't even hit you yet what you was doing because you was fixing the problem, right? Like, and you ain't realizing what you using to fix the problem. And that comes with maintenance. And the thing you just fixed clearly comes with maintenance because you had to fix it. So
you going
now you already understand you got two things to work on, but you only acknowledging one.
it's like you having a fire and you going in and putting the fire out with a fire extinguisher. You
Yeah.
know, everybody told you that the fire extinguisher put the fire out, but did they tell you what all the chemicals and debris do to everything around the fire that you just sprayed it all on?
Yep.
Smoke damage. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yep.
just, you know, another analogy for something of that nature. We really don't realize that, you know, everything has cause and effect. Everything has
Hmm.
action and reaction. And like you said, you know, I made that conscious decision to put this fire out. I never thought more into it to realize that, man, I'm about to ruin not just this place where the fire is, but all this stuff that's on the side of the fire. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, start making, you know, real conscious decisions and being aware of everything. You know, that's a part of planning. Um, I know that if a fire come, you know, that I'm supposed to do it this way. You know, Or I invested a little more money not to get this foam that's gonna ruin everything, other than getting this, system that does a direct spray. Like, I mean, it's just preparation. I tell people all the time, prevention is better than intervention. Like, if I can prepare to not go down this road, it's much better than getting halfway down it and realizing that I need a fog light to see.
Hmm.
Like,
There comes the anxiety. Now you got more things to worry about. And who knows how many journeys you on at one time. How many roads you went down today to get who knows what. And how many times you came back home empty handed when you was finished. That's the toll. So that's trauma. So no matter whether you decide to self reflect and heal or not, trauma's coming. It's here. You know what I mean? Like, and you healing is going to give you the ability to see how powerful you are. The fact that that trauma ain't shit. It's applesauce to a boss. But you got to see yourself in that light for it to be that way. And when you're having a hard time forgiving yourself, when you still calling yourself stupid when you make mistakes, like that stuff is rooted to you got to forgive yourself. There's something you did you can't let go. And there's some judgment you have of what you did. And you probably judge other people for doing the same shit. And it's hard for you to relate to those people because some of them have forgiven themselves. They don't feel guilty anymore about what they did. You still living in that guilt. You still living in that hurt. You dig? Like, and it's the same across the board. The psychological definition is basically like you're hurt, you've been wronged, you're a victim, and now you're changing your feelings through process. You're realizing through a process, I need to change my feelings about how I view this situation. I'm attached to the pain. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, this is what you're going to get, especially with a therapist like me. I'm just going to give you techniques. We're not going to talk too much about when you was 3 and your dad's gold shoes and his James Brown record. I don't want to talk about that. You dig? We talk about that with your friends. Tell your spouse wants to hear about that shit. I
yeah,
promise. I don't care about that. We talking about today. We talking about what you can use today and what you can focus on today and put these healthy techniques in your life. And the first it comes to understanding. A big thing you're going to get through therapy is understanding emotions. A lot of times, you know what I mean, you're disappointed, but you coming off as you upset or you're mad. And those are two different things. And there's a way to articulate disappointment and move on. You know what I mean? That's why I agree with you in the beginning when you like it takes a lot to get me mad. And I ain't just saying that like for propaganda. Like it takes a lot to get me mad. Cause there's not a lot that I hold other people have fought for.
nah, yeah.
Unless I wasn't involved, it's my fault.
Yeah, but I say you took all of my control
You know
out of
what
it.
I mean?
I didn't
Like
even
if
have.
we if the holidays coming up and you said you just jumped up said I'm cooking the turkey and you fucked the turkey up, that ain't on me. That has nothing to do with me. Nothing. But if I come to holidays and like, all right, I'm gonna do these 5 things, only knowing I could do 3, and I put 2 of them off on a person who's unreliable, and they fuck the turkey up, that's my fault. That's on me.
Ah, that's a fact.
The turkey fucked up in 2 situations, but 2 completely different situations to how I would view it as whose fault, you dig? And
Yeah.
I don't get caught up who's at fault because I'm not a big right or wrong person or good or bad person. Like I seek truth and I stay away from things that aren't truthful. That's it. I don't look for the good in people. I don't look for the bad in people. I can read vibes. I know if I'm going to want to be around you. I know if I'm going to want to talk to you. We'll see. Let's give it time. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean? If we talk once every 10 years, that's what it is. I don't want to get no letter in year 11 like, I wish we could have been closer. Why? We could have been friends for a decade. We did what we wanted to do. We had a decade, and look at how we used it. How can I look back and have regrets? How can I look back and feel sorry? I ain't no sorry ass nigga. I don't even like saying that's another thing why I don't like apologize to people because I don't like saying I'm sorry. I apologize when I'm wrong.
I ain't
The
no
few times,
nigga.
the once or twice I've been wrong, I apologize. You did, but I'm not sorry.
Sorry is once again to me a sense of mindset. You know, like you said, it's not the actual sorry, what I'm saying, that offends you. It's the relating that sorry to a sorry ass nigga. Like,
Yeah,
no sorry ass nigga. I'm okay with being wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
not the sorry that offends you, is that I have to relate, that sorry to being a sorry ass person because I made a sorry ass decision at that time. And the fact that I gotta tell you I'm sorry means that I'm admitting to being a sorry ass nigga in that moment.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I think that's a part of self reflection that we don't like. I hate it.
yeah.
I hate it because, like, what? Like,
But we need it, you know what I mean? And we've been in environments where we needed it. We had a choice that we had to make instantly. Like when I was club promoting, when I was in the clubs, like I just I don't know, I don't like being pinned in a corner. So I'm gonna move through the crowd. You dig what I mean? I'm a
yeah, so
bow out. We moving. Look, everybody get behind me. We moving through this bitch. You hear me? So sometimes I see the homie cross the way. I'm chopping it up with the homie. We excited. I step on somebody's foot. I'm gonna apologize for that. But if you looking for me to say I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. We're in a packed space. I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna see my mans and like, yo, you know what I mean? I'm gonna do that. I didn't know you was right there, so I'm apologizing for that. But if you want to be like, I'm sorry, I should never step on people's feet. No, it's gonna happen in these kind of spaces. People stepped on my foot. That's why I immediately take it and I'm just like, you good. Immediately. They don't even have to get to the whole song and dance. I'm like, you good. Don't even, you know what I mean? Cause we got long hair. I guess we just look a certain way. So nigga look at you like, oh man, he gonna want to fight me. Like, nah, bro, you stepped on my foot. That
anything.
ain't nothing to shoot nobody over, respectfully.
I tell people the major thing with me is your intentions. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, if you came through the club and you just literally genuinely moving through and you step on my foot, I'm gonna tell you good before you even have to attempt to apologize. You know,
Yeah,
because to me, naturally, I'm a good judge of character. I see you was just passing through. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you coming through the club and you stomping and throwing your elbow from side to side,
that's
nigga,
different.
if you tell me you sorry. Your intentions was fucked up when you came
Yeah,
through here. I'm finna whoop your ass. You feel me?
you
Like,
sorry I said something.
yeah. You just sorry that a nigga literally stood up about that shit. Like, you thought that shit was cool, that nobody was gonna say nothing. So intentions is major and key to me. Like I said, I'm never gonna, get upset and frustrated about things that can naturally happen. You know.
Hmm.
But if I can sit back and see your intentions, if I watch you walk clear from one side of the club to the other side, stumping and throwing your elbows, it ain't a sorry in the world that can save you for what's about to happen because you intentionally came through here. You just didn't expect the reaction that you got.
Yeah, exactly. You thought you was an unmovable force. All right, bet. Say less. And I found myself being that angry kid. Like I was that angry teenager being in the club and Nuck If You Buck came on. It's dark times, you know what I mean? And what helped me climb out of that was understanding, was seeing how quickly things could go left. You know what I mean? Seeing people lose their life over a misunderstanding. It made me immediately see all of that shit is not that serious.
Uh,
You feel me? Like, oh yeah, this ain't nothing I'm about to buck up about or even respond to. Like this slow. And 10 out of 10 times, like when you get in that space, and obviously there's gonna be special circumstances, but usually when you get in that space and you put your guard down and you just let them know, you disengage, you disarm, they chill the fuck out. You know what I mean? And this was stuff that we actually learned because I grew up in karate. So this is where I was getting like a lot of my like spirituality and lessons because karate is rarely they're teaching you how to fight. Like they're teaching you how to defend yourself. They're teaching you how to know when you have to fight
right.
and teaching you in most situations you're not gonna have to fight. This is how you carry yourself. Putting your hands in your pockets, having your hands behind your back. You know what I mean? Just having an unthreatening posture. And this is something these young boys need. This is something people aren't taught across the. Again, I had to go to karate to learn that. So if I was never in those classes, I wouldn't have picked up on those things. I wouldn't have seen those things potentially till later on in life. And then just seen it like a stranger on the street, like, huh, you look familiar. You just keep walking, like, yeah, back to my life.
Yeah, yeah,
You did- I don't need to look too much into that. So that's
exactly.
how a lot of things be. That's why planting that seed is so important. Because you're usually going to get it on a revisit. You're not going to get on that. You're going to be bad. This is something new for you. You ain't going to know what to do when plants actually start coming. You just start learning how to plant seeds. Now you got to learn how to water and trim. You got to learn about sunlight and what don't need sunlight. You feel me? So the best way is experience. So the people and the places I gravitate to are things that are speaking on that experience. I'm
Yeah.
planting seeds. I meet somebody. They like, shit, I got a garden. Bet. Good to know. Noted. You feel me? I look for that before I look at, man, is this a good person? Is this a bad person? Are they a criminal? Do they have a record? Oh, geez. Hopefully they don't have a record. Like, I don't even think like that. You feel? I don't even care about that kind of stuff.
What you say? You said you got a guard. I don't need that right now, but we got that in our back pocket. We
Yeah,
talked about that on previous show. Is being blessed with some things that you're not gonna need right now, and knowing when to use these goods and resources and when not to. I'm not
hmm
going just because you said that you got a garden. I'm not gonna run over there and plant some tomatoes just because.
exactly.
It's not the time. I don't need them right now. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of me not really knowing that you have a garden, I might be, starting a business 3, 4 years down the line, and I might say, man, it'd be nice to have, my own grown peppers and tomatoes and stuff to make this pico I need for this taco truck I just started. And it's like, damn, I remember I got a friend that got a garden. I can use that garden. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't need that 3 years ago. I didn't just go use the resources because they was there. Because by now I would have been done messed up 3, 4 times on planting and garden something. I done ruined they stuff. Like, you can't use that because my mind and intentions wasn't there. I just was using it because it was there. So I'm never gonna take it serious. So it's important to know when to use your blessings and when not to. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I really need it. Now you can teach me how to do it. Now my mind and thought is here because this is going to help me make money somewhere else. I'm not just doing it to be doing it because you offered that you had a garden.
Exactly. Setting boundaries. All of these things are going to come in handy. That's why you need to have it on you. You don't know when you're going to need to set boundaries. You're not going to know when you need to step back from shit. You're not going to know when you need to double down, go all in.
Those are
If you're not keeping these attunements, you're not. So that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is not the end all be all. These is opportunities for us to grow, for us to heal. So look up, research. I always tell people you gotta research this shit too. We just planting the seeds. We
right.
just giving you an idea and the things that stick to you. Go research. Go look that stuff up. Cause that's all the fuck we doing. We living life and experiencing. We researching it. We get in live research, having conversations with people, very intelligent people, people who've experienced all types, all the walks of life, and we have a conversation with anybody. You did get them a talking. They ain't talking in weeks. Now they can't stop.
Man,
So
look,
this is we gotta stop forgiving ourselves for things that are naturally just a part of the life process. It's okay to say no. It's okay not to answer calls. It's okay not to be a shit. We too available sometimes. You dig? Sometimes we too fucking available.
that's a
It's
fact.
okay to have cheat days. Like it ain't, we sorry for too much. People been apologizing and saying sorry for so long. They just say I'm sorry. Didn't even do nothing wrong.
Naturally. And then you become just a sorry ass nigga. What you say?
Yeah, yeah. Now
Yeah,
you just look like a sorry ass nigga. That's all I see. Cause
I'm sorry. Yeah.
you ain't did nothing wrong. I don't even look at it that way. You feel me? Like, and these are the conversations that need to be had because this is how you figure out who aligns with you, the people you should be around. Y'all should be speaking similar lingos. That's a good way not to offend each other. Talk
Yeah.
the same fucking language. Speak it with respect and love. You know? How could you offend somebody through that? They may feel trapped. They may feel like a prisoner, but we don't implore on those things because it's going to lead you to self reflection. You got to open that closet, and
Yeah,
not for us, for
yeah,
you. I don't care what's in your damn house.
yeah.
I
That don't,
care what's in your spirit. I care what's in your heart.
that's a
That's what
fact.
I care about.
That's a fact.
Because there's people with no homes who still got all that same shit. And don't let me find out theirs is more solidified than yours.
Man,
I'll
look,
choose them over you every day.
they more valuable. They more hungry.
You dig? Like, so that's stuff we gotta look in the mirror and we have to accept. But we can't avoid that mirror. And now motherfuckers out here walking around with hand mirrors trying to show other people they stuff. Like, nah, that's not what we doing. That's not what we doing. So the
Oh,
back is just looking at you and they gotta look in the mirror. What do you see?
man,
Get out of here.
look at me.
Yeah.
You don't see me through this mirror?
And they ain't peeped in the mirror. They got covers and pillows over all their mirrors at home. Like, that's not what we doing. You feel me? Ain't no trophies gonna come with this. Ain't no accolades. You ain't gonna get on no show and be famous. Like, this is your life.
Facts.
And I think we've been living in this internet reality so long, people starting to forget about their real life that they living.
It seemed better. It seemed more relatable. Um,
Yeah.
it
People's
looked
first thought be a public apology.
right
Be
because
a public lynching.
that's
Everything is public.
pros to do. I just it feel better because I said it in front of everybody. Like, yeah,
Right. I wrote it down and got on the podium, so I'm serious, y'all. I mean it.
your own mind though. And that's all. We've trapped ourselves into belief. That's how you really apologize for something is as publicly going to go say it, not putting any action behind it. It's just getting up there and publicly saying it. That rights the wrong. Because you was willing to get in front of people and apologize. You meant it. you know I don't accept your apology because you ain't do it in front of everybody. you know
And my favorite part about the public apologies is they always throw shade at somebody else in the fucking apology. I'm sorry I blew the bathroom up, but Rhonda's chili fucked my
yeah,
stomach up. Like, they always throw somebody under the bus in their apology.
it was me. Even though y'all gave me all the tools to do this, like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely leave y'all with that today, though. Cause listen, that's crazy right there. Like,
It's a cold world, man.
um, I'm gonna say that if I had to give my old self or the future a note or a statement, um, when you start doing your self reflection, always remember that the mirror is only a reflection of what your eyes see. You have to know who you are before you can even look in that mirror. A part of learning yourself is knowing that when I wake up and I look in this mirror, I know that I got dreads. I know that my skin is dark complected. You know, I don't go to the mirror thinking I'm white and seeing this black man in the mirror. I
Hmm.
go to the mirror thinking I'm bald and seeing all this hair on my head. I know when I get up before I look in that mirror who I am. Y'all with me?
Yeah, you still there. You blinking, but you
Can you
there.
hear me, Russ?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, there you go. Sorry, look, I'm gonna leave y'all with what I got. Four things to do if you want to practice forgiveness daily. So, thing number one is you have to work on empathy. empathizing with yourself, empathizing with others. Number two is you have to remember when someone forgave you. Put yourself in that sensation of what it feels like to felt like to be forgiven. Oh wait, you back?
I know. I put my phone on do not disturb. I don't know how calls still coming through.
Hey, it had to come through, big dog. Did you
Yeah.
have more?
Nah. Go ahead.
All right. So I'm gonna start from the top. So I'm gonna leave y'all with some things you can do to practice forgiveness daily. Four things. One is work on your empathy, and this is empathizing with yourself and empathizing with others. Two is remember when someone forgave you. Remember that sensation of being forgiven, of having that anxiety, of wondering what was gonna happen, and then someone just diffused it and let it go. Three is write in a journal, pray, or guided meditation. Whatever works best for you. Remember, these tools, these things that we're going to give you on the show, these things you're going to learn through therapy are just templates. They can't tell you the work that you need to do. They can just give you an understanding of how to practice the work, and you have to decide how that work makes sense to you. So the fourth thing is you have to be aware forgiveness is a process. We spoke about that all through the show. That's
Yeah.
one of the big ones. It is a process. This is not an overnight thing. This is not something that you can rush. This is something you have to take your time with and be balanced. Like he said, know who you are before you look in the mirror. Get both sides. Don't be trying to look for a certain image. Don't try to create an image. Learn to love what you see. But first you gotta love who you are, the person you're seeing. You
Yeah.
gotta love people like that person. You know what I mean? So that's all we gonna leave y'all with. You dig? This was a great one. This is a great one. We gonna be back Thursday, Monday, Thursday, 8 p.m. Same place. We on the Facebook. It's your boy Good Life for us.
It's your boy Good Life Twan. We
We
signing out.
out, y'all. Peace.